beautiful lobster orzo pasta. Hey guys, welcome to my kitchen. I'm Jameson and this is how I cook. Up next, I'm gonna show you guys how I cook for Valentine's Day. I'm gonna make lobster orzo pasta, one of the side dishes to go along with my dinner that I'm making for my wife. Up next, I'm gonna show you how a simple set of ingredients can turn into an amazing dinner. Up next, and this is how I cook. So guys, before we get farther into the video, do me a favor, hit that subscription button, turn on those notifications, hit that like button, and leave me a comment. Do you guys like lobster? Have you ever cooked orzo pasta before? Let me know down in the comments. I really would love to hear from you guys. There's always a two-way conversation, so let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this recipe. The star of our show, these are 3 cold water lobster tails. Typically we call these Maine lobsters, but they come from the Atlantic up north. Now, if you saw lobster in your supermarket and it looks more like a tiger stripe pattern, that's typically warm water lobster. I like cold water lobster tails because the meat is typically more tender than what you would get from warm water lobster tails. So all we're gonna do is remove the meat from the shell of these lobsters. But what I wanna do is save one of these shells, I think it's gonna be this one, for purposes of my presentation, because I wanna do a nice presentation in the actual pot of lobster orzo pasta. So working with lobster tails, it can be a little intimidating, but you don't have to be scared. I got a pair of kitchen shears. I'm gonna take my lobster tail and I'm gonna find the middle of the actual tail up here at the very top. There's a cavity up here, and if you slide your shears in, you can cut right down the back of the lobster tail. And since we're not saving this shell for presentation, we don't have to be pretty about how we cut the meat out the shell. Then you just turn the lobster tail to the side and smash it down. And then that exposes the meat on the inside. Now, here's a very important thing that you want to pay attention to. A lobster tail has a vein just like a shrimp does. And that vein is the intestine of the lobster. And if you look right here, you see that dark streak there? That's the intestine of the lobster. And so what we want to do is take our time. As we pull this meat out the shell, we want to get rid of that vein. And you can see part of that vein right down there too. So you just want to take your time and get all of that out of your lobster tail. And just take your time and you can pull that vein out of the tail. Now what we want to do is just take our time and work our hands underneath the meat in the tail. And it comes right out of the shell. And then just like a shrimp, you take and pull, and now you got your lobster meat out. Now, with lobster, you can get some discoloration on the actual meat of the lobster. Don't worry about that. That's nothing wrong with that. That's just the color of the meat as it comes out. Some restaurants probably trim that off, but because of the cost of lobster, I'm not trimming that off. I'm gonna leave it just like that for my pasta. And so we want to do the same thing to this other lobster tail. Same process, come up underneath that cavity right there at the top opening of the lobster tail and cut down the back. Turn it on the side and kind of push down to crack it. And then when we do that, like I said, we expose the meat inside the lobster. And sometimes when you open up your lobster tails, they won't have an intestine inside. It just depends on what the fishmonger did, if they got the intestine out or not. In this case, I think there's a little piece of the intestine left right there. We can cut that out. But just like any kind of cooking, right? If you see something on your food that you don't want to eat or you don't think is edible, just get rid of it. It's not a big deal. There we go, another shell. Now, don't throw these shells away. We're gonna use these shells to help flavor the stock of our lobster orzo pasta. Now, let me show you that we got that one cut out, those 2 cut out. Let me show you how I want to save this shell to help prepare for a presentation. So I'm going to come in and I really want to kind of cut along this whole shell. And so I'm gonna do the same thing, right? I'm gonna come in and find the opening here. But instead of coming straight through the middle, I'm gonna come on the side here and kind of cut the top off this lobster, just this way. Just take your time, because you're not trying to go fast here because you want to save this shell. So we made that sort of lateral cut. We're gonna do the same thing on this side of the lobster tail also, make a lateral cut. So this time I'm gonna come in, work my knife to my shears to the side. And when we get down to that last segment there, we want to just cut across. So we take our shears again, come in and begin to just work. Lobster shells aren't as hard as you might think. They're not really hard. They're fairly easy to work with. Now we could take our time here and we can come back in underneath this piece of meat, put our finger and thumb in there, and voila. And since I'm trying to save this shell, I want to be real gentle here as I pull this tail out. So now we've got a beautiful cavity here, right? We got a beautiful cavity here for our presentation. And we're gonna stuff that with some of that orzo pasta in the pan so it makes a nice presentation. This piece up here on the top, you can now just open this on up. And now we're looking in here once again for that vein. So I'm gonna take my shears and just snip this open. Yep, there's the vein, but see, there's nothing in it, but we're still gonna pull it on out. Yep. And you just wanna look through the rest of the lobster meat to see if there's any more. And that's it, guys. That's how easy it is to take the meat out of a lobster tail, just like that. Now, we wanna save these shells. I'm gonna give everything here, you see a rinse, I'm gonna give the meat a rinse, I'm gonna give the shells a rinse, but we're gonna save these shell carcasses because we're gonna use that, like I said, to help flavor our stock. So this is a pot that's big enough to hold a quart of stock. And so here's the stock we're gonna build our stock with. This is Kitchen Basics seafood stock, and I've got the shells of those lobster tails in the pot that we're gonna use to warm up this stock. So all I'm gonna do, nothing magic here, is just pour in my stock. If you can't find this at your local grocery store or some version of seafood stock, just use chicken stock. It's not a big deal. So we're gonna let this stock come up to temperature, and once we see these shells turn bright red, we know that they've been cooked and they're sanitary and that they've imparted their flavor into the stock, and then we'll have some warm stock to make our lobster orzo pasta with. And since I just so happen to have it, I'm gonna put in some celery as well. So that's one stalk of celery there. So to make sure I have enough stock, I am gonna go ahead and add a little bit of this chicken stock into this pot as well. So probably, I'm gonna try to go for a quart and a half here. So I'm gonna put in half of this with that quart of seafood stock that was already in there. You see how those shells are turning red? That lets me know that they're being cooked. And this is gonna sanitize the shell because you don't wanna take something that's raw and put it into your food as a garnish. So we want this to serve two purposes here. We want the flavor from the shells, but we also wanna make sure those shells are safe to be in our food. For good measure, I'm gonna even add in some bay leaf. I don't know if you guys can tell, I don't really have a recipe. I'm just cooking from scratch. So this is where we want our stock to be. Now, at this point, you can cook this as long as you want to. If I had more time today, I would cook this until the celery became tender. You can throw in onions into this. You can throw in peppercorns. You can throw in whatever you want to in the stock. But at the end of the day, all we really want is the flavor from those shells and whatever aromatics that we put in here. But that's our warm stock, and we're gonna set this to the side and we're gonna use this to cook our orzo pasta. Let's start with half a stick of butter in our pan. So to our pan, we wanna add our lobster meat. All I did was dice this up into small enough chunks where I felt comfortable that when this cooks down, it'll be easy to eat. And you see how I've got my heat down low here? I'm not trying to go crazy here, man. One of the biggest mistakes we make when we cook seafood often is that we overcook it. And so all I wanna do is begin to build that flavor in my pan by heating up this lobster gently. Go add a little bit of salt in here, just to help build up a base of flavor. We need some pepper. And when your lobster meat turns opaque, it's done. So I'm gonna actually put this back into my lobster orzo pasta at the end of the dish. I'm gonna take all of this lobster meat out so I don't overcook it. So we took our lobster out of our pot and set it to the side. And now what we're gonna do is begin to build some more flavor in this dish. So this is shallot. Now, I can already hear you now. I don't like shallot, I don't like onions. Well, don't put none in. And then wonder why your food tastes bland. This is, this is some shallot. So this is probably about a quarter of a cup, maybe even a third of a cup of shallot. But there's no recipe here, guys. We're just cooking. And what we wanna do is just begin to saute this around a little bit. We're not trying to brown the shallots, we just want the shallots to help add their beautiful flavor into our dish here. Man, we're making lobster orzo pasta. When you see what this looks like, you're gonna wish that we spent Valentine's Day together. Now in here we wanna add in some garlic. And we're not trying to brown our garlic. We just wanna make sure that our garlic wakes up the flavor here in the pot. At this step, we're gonna add in our orzo pasta. So right here, this is about a cup of orzo pasta. And what we wanna do here is, we've got that beautiful oil from that butter in there. And all we wanna do here is just work this orzo pasta around and coat it in that oil. We're gonna cook this orzo pasta like we're making risotto in a more traditional sense. And so once I see that my pasta has a nice sheen to it because it's picked up all that butter that's in the pot, I know we're ready to move into our next step here. Gotta add in some white wine. This is a dry white wine. This is a Pinot Grigio. The rule when you cook with wine is you want a wine that you would actually drink. That's probably about half a cup of wine. And at this point, we want to deglaze our pan. So we want to get all those brown bits that we developed up from the bottom of the pan. And you can see our orzo is already picking up that liquid. It's already developing some beautiful color to it. And the part I really like about cooking this kind of pasta, look at all that beautiful starch that is being released into my pot. That starch is gonna be the key to making our finishing touches to this actual dish here. Look at that, guys. Look at how beautiful this orzo pasta is. And all we're doing here, since we added this white wine, we're just waiting until we don't smell alcohol anymore. You wanna smell a beautiful wine flavor, but you don't wanna smell any alcohol. We're at the point where we can add in ladles of our stock. And we just wanna do this one ladle at a time, or one portion at a time. If you don't have a ladle at home, that's okay. Just use it one portion at a time. So that's that seafood stock that we went through the trouble of making earlier. Now what's happening in my pot right now is that the orzo is beginning to soak up this stock and this liquid that's in here. And what you wanna do is take your time and run your spoon across the bottom of your pot to make sure none of your orzo is trying to stick. Because it tries to do that on you, but that's easy enough to mitigate. You just wanna run your spoon across the bottom of that pot. And we keep working our orzo and our stock and all these beautiful ingredients that we put in there. When your orzo looks like that, after that first addition of stock, take your time, come back, and add in another ladle of stock. And I've got a simmer going here, right? I'm not trying to boil the pasta. I'm just heating up this stock and this liquid and all the flavors in here so that the pasta can slowly absorb and pick up the flavor from this stock. And as it does so, the pasta's gonna cook. I know we're all pressed for time. I don't have as much time as I used to have. That's what happens as you get older in life. But man, some things in life are really best if you take your time and appreciate the process. And I think this is one of those recipes that really illustrates that for me in my life. Another way you can tell it's time to add more stock is when you run your spoon through the pot, you see that streak that's left in there? That tells you also it's time to add more stock. So at this stage, you want to begin to taste some of this orzo. And what this will give you the ability to do is determine how much further you need to go. I tasted this already and sampled it. And right now, this is about what they call al dente, which means to the tooth. So it's soft on the outside with a little bit of firmness and bite on the inside. So at this point, what I'm gonna do is add another ladle of my stock to this. And I'm gonna use that stock to hopefully finish cooking this orzo. And then we're gonna come back and add in our lobster meat and the rest of our finishes to this dish. So guys, while I'm finishing up this orzo, do me a favor. Send me an email. I've got some exciting projects coming up, and I want to stay in touch with you. My email address is down here on the bottom of the screen. You can see it right there. And just send in the subject, hey Jameson, I want to know. I want to know. And what I'll do is I will add you to my email list so that I can stay in touch with you. And I'm going to tell you some amazing things that I've got in the works that I'm literally cooking up behind the scenes of Jameson Presents This Is How I Cook. Look how pretty my Orzo pasta is, guys. Now we're at the final mile, the final stretch. What I want to do here with this pasta is I'm going to add in some herbs. So this is just flat leaf parsley. So I almost put tarragon into this, and tarragon does play exceptionally well with lobster, but in this case, I just decided to go and be a little different. So I put in some flat leaf parsley. At this point, I'm gonna put in a pinch of pepper. It's a pinch of black pepper here. I want a little bit more flavor. So I'm gonna put in a touch, probably about half a teaspoon of chicken powder. We're gonna come in here with some heavy cream. Probably about a quarter cup of heavy cream. And we just wanna work that around. So remember our lobster meat? Look at all those juices we've got in there. We're gonna put our lobster meat back in here, juice and all, and just work that in. At this point, that lobster meat ought to be about 90% done. It's done enough for me. You know, I'm not gonna overcook this, but I do want this to warm up within this orzo. At this point, if you couldn't tell, we're essentially making almost like a lobster mac and cheese. So I've got some gouda that I've shredded, and I've also got some Havarti. I want to use mild cheeses here because I don't want to overpower the flavor of the lobster. So we're gonna put in a couple handfuls of these. And once this melts into our orzo, once this melts into our lobster orzo pasta, guys, we're done. Look at that, man. That is a beautiful dish. So now we're gonna put this lobster tail in here for our presentation. And now that we got this tail fanned out, what we're gonna do is just take some of our beautiful lobster orzo pasta, and we're gonna set it right there on top. And that right there, guys, is my lobster orzo pasta with a creamy and cheesy sauce. Guys, this is how I cook. So guys, I went and changed clothes, put on some cologne, even asked my beautiful wife to come have dinner. Here's my ramekin with the lobster orzo pasta. Let me tell y'all what I think here. And I gotta get back to Valentine's Day dinner. Rich lobster flavor. It's cheesy, it's decadent. You get the wine that we put in there, you get those aromatics from the garlic and the shallot. Guys, once again, I'm Jameson and this is how I cook, and this is my Valentine's Day dinner with my wife. And so I'm gonna let you guys go so I can get back to my beautiful company. Do me a favor, shoot me an email with the subject line, I wanna know, at chefjamesonsmallwood@gmail.com. You see the address down on the screen. And let's stay in touch, guys. I wanna tell you about some great things I've got coming up in this year. Once again, guys, I'm Jameson, and this is how I cook. Love you guys. Happy Valentine's Day wherever you're at. You probably aren't getting this on Valentine's Day, which is cool because I didn't publish it on Valentine's Day. Peace and love to you and your family.